Welcome back to the Aussie Shed, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Project Fairlady. Now, as seems to be a bit of a theme, working away on the Fairlady, and I've hit another sort of fairly major distraction that's going to slow me down a bit on the way progress is going here. So you can see by the Fairlady there, I've got the doors off, so I can do a little bit of cleanup work in the jams. And plus do some work on the doors. Doors are down here. The plan was I'll get all the seals and everything off the doors. I'll get the glass out. I'll clean the glass up. I'll replace all the rollers and get everything all nice and ready so that when it goes into paint, the doors will have no glass in them. They'll be a lot easier to handle. They'll be a lot lighter, and it just gives me a good chance to clean everything up, get a good look at all the door seals and all that sort of stuff, and plus get everything apart fairly easily. With the car being on the hoist, you can only get the front doors open so far, and it made it quite hard to get all the door seals and everything off. So I thought, yep, I got a mate over. He gave me a hand. We got the doors off, got them down on some panel stands to do a bit of work on them. So what's the distraction, you ask? Well, now that I've got a chance to have a good look at the doors, I found some really crap work that was done during the compliance for this vehicle a very long time ago. So I assume as part of the compliance for these vehicles, they were fitted with side intrusion bars, which has always been a bit of a thing in Australia. Many cars have had to be retrofitted with side intrusion bars to meet Australian standards, particularly imports, and I'm sure this was one of them. So when the side intrusion bars were fitted to these things, they did a really, really crappy job on them. So let's have a bit of a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So down in through here, they're the side intrusion bars. You can see it there, and you can see them down in through here. Now you'll note that the welding on these side intrusion bars is basically, well, you'd have to call that complete garbage. It's just really, really shit. But what else they did is they cut the door right here, and you can see the quality of the weld, very similar to the side intrusion bars. What they did, and they covered that with a big blob of silicone, just like this. Like is on the other door over here. I'm yet to peel the silicone off, but I have no doubt that the weld is of the same quality that is under there. And the reason they've done that is to give them access to either get the intrusion bar in or to weld, if you can call it that section on the end, because I assume it was probably done in two pieces, slid apart either way and then welded together. They've cut this, and then they've bent this section of the door up to be able to get all this in. And what that's done is it's caused a major fracture of the seatbelt mounts. So this is where the main section of your seatbelt mounts here. And this is the lower section here, being that this is a model that has a seatbelts mount onto the doors. So I'll just go around here so you get a better look at this crack. What's happened is it's basically created a stress fracture in this, and you can see what that's like there now. So that, God, this thing's shit at focusing. I don't know if you can see, but basically that is a full-on crack that goes all the way around this seatbelt mount. Look, you can see how offset the steel is there. Like, that's just completely separated there. Goes all the way around the back, and then partially down this side here. So basically that whole piece there, and there's a reinforcing plate on the back, and that's where it's cracked. It's actually cracked around that reinforcing plate, which is just absolutely no good. So you have a prang, you pull on the seatbelt mount rips out of the door. And mind you, all of this is done to increase the safety of the vehicle, and by doing this absolutely shithouse job on these intrusion bars. They've actually compromised the safety of the occupants by creating a major defect in one of the primary safety devices, being the seat belts. This one over this side, exactly the same. So this looks like this was their MO. Cut the door, bend this out of the way, do their shitty work, and then squirt silicone and whatever over the top to hide it all. But if we look here, you can see the exact same thing. Look at that. Again, fracture goes up, along. Might finish there, or might go under this. I'm yet to do a real clean up on this side, but you can see it's just definitely really, really shit house. Unfortunately, what it means for me is I'm now sidetracked once again because I have to fix this bloody schmozzle that I've uncovered in the car, because obviously I can't trust these seatbelt mounts. That's just absolutely terrible. And the fact that right next to it the door's been cut through the narrowest part, and the quality of this weld is, well, you know, have a go at that. Fucking great piece of work, isn't it? Yes, I know what you're saying. That was done for compliance under Australian law. Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely friggin' was. Oh God, have a go at it. Look at the welds on the side. Welds on the top running over the side. They don't even, you know, they're not even melted into that side layer. They've just basically run a bird shit weld across the top. A few edges have run down the side, and that's it. So these side intrusion bars, the way they're set up, mate, they're not worth a pinch of piss in an accident, as far as I'm concerned. That is just absolutely fucking useless. All they've done is compromise the vehicle. So I've got to fix it, guys. I can't just leave it like it is. So obviously I'm going to have to clean these up, grind all these welds off, re-weld it, try and work out how the friggin' hell I can get in there to re-weld that. I reckon I can possibly get a TIG torch in there and melt all that together. The problem is going to be it's very, very dirty in there, and trying to get it clean enough that I can weld is going to be a real problem. With the combination of the access and you know, not being able to get it clean is probably going to create real problems. But anything I do is got to be a positive, you know. So wish me luck, guys. It's just going to be a real pain in the bum. This is just going to take ages to fix. So obviously here I've got to re-strengthen all this. I'm going to make up a plate and just go over this whole area. I'll probably go all the way around over all this and maybe back over here, and you know, maybe come right across there, bend down over this edge, and then weld around here or something. Just try to make it as big as possible out of some similar gauge steel to what's already here. Probably something a bit thicker. I think I've got some stuff there, some body steel that's a bit thicker than this, that I can use to make it up out of. I'll just have to cut a hole here for this screws access. But yeah, I'll try and go as big as I can because it's just such a mess, you know. Anyway, like I say, anything I do has got to be better than this. I'm sure I can do something that would certainly restore most of the strength that these effing morons have taken away. Alright, so I'll start cleaning her all up and start getting it ready for welding. And yeah, wish me luck. Right guys, well I've just about got this stuff ready to weld up. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a look at what it looks like now that it's all exposed. So that's the cut across the door, that's the weld in it. Pretty friggin' sweet, eh? Now, see if we can get a shot under here at this side intrusion bar. Alright, do this. There we go. So feast your eyes on that, guys. Feast your friggin' eyes on that. Hey, This is meant to be a structural weld done professionally by a vehicle compliancing centre. Their name is Auto Gold, and this vehicle was complied in 2002. So if you're in Australia and you have a Z32 that was complied around that time, or, you know, any time probably there before or after, by a company called Auto Gold Proprietary Limited, you can find that on your compliance plates. I would get your door panels off and have a look at the state of your seatbelt mounts and your doors. This is the one on this side. How good is that? Check it out. They've really taken bird shit welding to the extreme, haven't they? Look at that. No penetration. The weld doesn't even span across the two pieces. It just runs along the top edge of that one. Like, this is just absolutely friggin' hideous. And this is our seatbelt mount. So you can have a look at this, guys. So that's cracked all the way down through there and all the way across here. Look at this. So you can see that this just, look at this corner here, how bad this is. All through here, like the friggin' state of this. Crack, you can see all the way along around here, just destroyed in this corner, and then just kind of continues along here a little bit. Look at that. You can just literally, I could just push this and snap this whole thing off, I reckon, with my thumb. It's just so bad. Fuck me, honestly. What absolutely crap work. Personal opinion only. Auto Gold Proprietary Limited. I guess the photos speak for the quality of your work themselves, don't they? Alright, let's go and have a look at the other door. That's the cut across it on this side, because you remember this one was just still covered in silicone. I can see why they bloody use silicone, mate. They probably buy it by the friggin' box full. Have a go at that. It's only marginally better than the other side. No penetration. Bird shit weld sitting on top. Not even all the way along. Holes. Bits missed. Slag down in there. And there's our intrusion bar. Light so you can see what's going on. Have a go at that. Again, same deal. Look at that. Structural weld, guys, meant to stand the impact of a vehicle against the side of the car to protect the passengers. Fuck. This is just disgusting. These guys were complying motor vehicles for the Australian market. Have a fucking go at this shit. Oh, can't really get in there for that one. Let's see if I can get the old camera down in there. There it is. Look at that. Hey? That's really going to hold up. Check it out. Oh my God. Seatbelt mount. Look at that. Look at this shit. Through here. All the way down here and around. Not quite as bad as the other side. But this is the passenger side. So the passenger seat on this thing looks friggin' brand new. There's probably hardly ever been a passenger in it, which is the reason why this seatbelt mount's probably not as bad. It's still rooted, but not as bad as the other side. So that's what I'm dealing with, guys. I've got it mostly cleaned up. It's going to be very, very hard to get in there to weld it, though. I've gotten rid of everything I can. I've got rid of all the wiring, all the window track channels and things like that. I've taken everything out that I can. so I can try and get in there to weld this up. Honestly, whatever I do has got to be better than that. Even if it's not, even if it's not perfect, it's certainly got to be better than that. Obviously, I've got to get in there with a grinder. I'm going to, try to get in there with a grinder anyway somehow and try and grind a lot of these lumps off, just because it'll make it hard to get it consistent with the TIG if I'm, running into big lumps. I suppose I could sort of try and melt my way through them, but we'll see. And the more I can even this up before running the torch across it, the better. Obviously these things, I've got to grind all that bird shit off there, get that all back to being nice and flat, and and then I can start jigging all that together. What a fucking mess. All right, guys, pray for me. I'm depressed. All right, I'll be back. So this is just a bit of footage of me attempting to get the TIG torch inside the door to do some welding on this intrusion bar. I'm actually trying to feed the torch backwards through the handle hole and in to be able to get access to this weld. I've got I'm using a small flex head torch. I have the head bent at 180 degrees and then cocked sideways at about 30 degrees. And I'm trying to position myself so that I can actually get the weld started. Now, with this section like it is, I can get probably about 25 millimeters an inch of weld before I have to reposition the torch again to get a little bit more. It's super frustrating and very slow and very awkward, as you'd imagine. But you got to do what you got to do, guys. It's the only way you get things done, just to persevere, and yeah, that's the way it goes. Alright guys, I think I've done it. I think everything is up to a point where I'm happy with it. Let's go and have a look what I've done. Alright, so on the top of this guy here, look, none of this is the prettiest welding I've ever done, but I'm very confident that it is like structurally quite sound. There's a guy across there, pretty good. All these little cracks, mate, they were just such a friggin' mess. But full penetration, they should be pretty good. I even found a couple of little spots across the back here where it looks like they bent this up. There was a couple of spot welds down here that were broken. I re-welded those. And as far as the bit underneath, you probably caught a bit of a glimpse of it then. But that's what it looks like now. So again, not the prettiest welding I've ever done, but certainly a damn sight better than what was there before. Again, lots of heat, big melt. I've added even quite a bit of filler wire. Pretty bloody good as far as I'm concerned. Certainly a lot better than it was. Alright, the other door. So that's our crack repairs. As you can see, not as bad as the other one. The weld that was hiding underneath the silicon there. And the welding under here. Mate, you would have seen the fun I had trying to get these things done. Honestly, It was not fun for Trevor. Alright, so one more thing. Now that they're all done, I just have a strengthening plate that I've made up that will sit over the top that I will weld around where all these bends are, and it also gets me back down to here where it's double panel, and you can see by these spot welds across there's another section that goes underneath it. Same on this side with this guy, cover all that shit up. This is some 1.2, 1.3 mil stuff. Certainly heavy enough for doing this sort of thing. And, when that's welded, it'll just sort of sort all that out. So, yeah, guys, that's what we've ended up with. And I've been having a bit of a think about the forces involved in this. And our seatbelt mounts here, and then we've got our top mount on the top of the door there. So all the pulling factor, the seatbelt will be pulling that way. So as long as these mounts are strong in that direction, which they will be, which sort of takes this out of the scenario, which is why I didn't bother going right over the top of that. I think what I've done there is strong enough in this situation, as I say, because all of the force is acting in that direction, and this being tied all around and then back to here, and plus obviously tied to the original stuff. And honestly, a lot of people would probably just leave that the way it is, but not me. I just definitely think, what it's like when you've welded stuff. Like if you're stressing fairly thin stuff that's been welded, it can crack around the edges of the welds. And for a primary safety device like a seatbelt, you just don't want to take the chances with this. At least our side impact protection's been restored, which it should have been. Like, that's how it should have been like to begin with. Like, you've got to be friggin' kidding me. Yeah, my welds aren't the prettiest in there, but oh my god, getting in there to try and weld it. So I'll get these guys welded on, and I'll be back in a flash. Alright, well, they're all pretty much sorted now. Our plates are all welded in. I only stitched those so there wasn't sort of a continual welded area around the perimeter, just to possibly help with potential future fracturing. Not that I think that would ever be an issue now. You can see the seatbelt bolt clamps the two lot together. The fact that it was all repaired underneath and everything, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely hunky-dory now. Turned out pretty good, pretty happy with it. Happily strap a seatbelt on in this thing and feel perfectly safe that it's not going to tear out of the door. Bit of primer on it just for make it, look a little bit fancy. You can see our welding under there now is, looks a bit nicer with a bit of primer on it. That door there, same deal. Pretty happy with it now, pretty happy with it, guys. So the only thing that I might do from here is I might put a bit of seam sealer around all this just so that it looks a bit more factory, and then I'll throw some silver paint over it, probably throw some satin black epoxy or something down inside the door over all that stuff, and that's pretty much it. So all in all, friggin' massive ordeal, guys, massive ordeal. So honestly, if I owned a imported Z32 in Australia, I'd be pretty concerned about this. Whether or not Auto Gold were the only company who was compliancing that did this same kind of shoddy work, who knows, but it's a very, very big concern to have such major flaws in something like this, particularly considering that this vehicle has no airbags and your seatbelt is really your only primary major safety device. Plus these side intrusion bars giving you, side impact protection combined with the seatbelt. The way the thing was just disgusting. The fact that it was done like that from compliance really, really kind of just is unfathomable. So I think it's a serious safety concern with these import Z32s. If you own one, guys, just for your own peace of mind, I would probably pop the door trims off, have a look at your seatbelt mounts, make sure they're not cracked, check out your side intrusion bars and make sure they've been welded properly, because in my opinion it could definitely save your life. This is something that I feel would 100% be compromised in the event of an accident, even a fairly low speed accident. So that's my recommendation, particularly if your import compliance plate has Auto Gold Proprietary Limited on it. There's a good chance it's going to be exactly the same as this, but I would honestly do it for any of them, because who knows what other compliancing workshops have been doing in regard to all this sort of stuff. Right guys, I hope you liked the video, as stressful as it was for me, and I hope it's at least given you a bit of a path to go down if you do find yourself in this same sort of a predicament. And thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.